Game day is finally here for Indiana and Illinois, a top 20 matchup tonight in Bloomington, and we bring in an expert to make his pick and tell why this could be the best recruiting weekend ever.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome, and it is the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. I appreciate you being here, making this your first listen or your first watch every single day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every day. We got another bonus episode for you on Saturday on game day. It's Indiana and it's Illinois, and you knew we had to bring in our man, Brian Smith of the Portal Podcast, and a legendary IU alum as well, and going to get his thoughts on recruiting and some of the huge names that are going to be on campus tonight in attendance for Indiana and Illinois. But Brian, what a game this is going to be, a matchup that everybody has their eyes on, and the hype for this matchup is truly incredible.
This is the biggest game, in my opinion, that Indiana's ever had in terms of an early season matchup, or even going into the season, there was expectations. Indiana's had a few times where they started out okay and they had Ohio State or Michigan or somebody come in and they get beat handily. Name a big game where they were favored.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have one.
That's what I mean. This is a program-changing opportunity. There's been a lot of lead up to this. Illinois is a quality football team. They're a little beat up. We'll get into that. But, this is your chance to show, and I'm a recruiting guy, obviously. I cover it every day of the year. This is your chance to show that, hey, we can take that next step. They've got elite recruits coming to campus, like some of the best kids they've ever had on campus, and night game, all the exposure. This is what Indiana fans have been waiting for decades. Literally so
decades.
This is awesome.
Yeah. And Curt Cignetti deserves so much credit for that. And that's been a big conversation this week, is what a huge opportunity for Curt Cignetti and Indiana to prove that they can beat that big bad team, right? Because Illinois is extremely talented. We've seen that. They're a top 10 team. It's a night game at home. A lot of people have said it's the biggest game in Memorial Stadium history. I totally agree with that for Indiana, but Illinois is a really good football team, Brian. You've done a little research here and kind of dug in on this Illini team. What about them could cause some problems for Indiana in the Hoosiers' first big game of the year?
If they are healthy up front, and that is a major if, their offensive tackles are both NFL players. I don't know which guy or guys will be healthy, because coaches do three things at press conferences. They lie, and they lie. So I don't believe anything. It's just the way it is. If the head coaches were standing in front of me, I would tell them the same. I don't care. But I've learned that if Illinois is going to be successful in any game, they got to run the ball. The weird part is they've been throwing it, even though they lost their top two receivers. Luke Altmaier is a graduate student. He's an experienced player that transferred from Ole Miss, but they haven't been running the ball very good at all. And then on the other side, Indiana, I know they played terrible competition, but they've not played with their food either. They've stomped it. I think that if they can at least mitigate Illinois' run, I don't know how healthy those tackles are for Illinois. I've heard they've been banged up some. If they don't run the ball well, I think Indiana could really put it to them early and force Luke to be in passing situations from early to mid-second quarter on and kind of change it. So my expectation is pretty simple here. Get after the quarterback, force them to throw, take away the run completely. Illinois is only averaging around 3 yards a carry, which is shocking. But again, I think their offensive line's been banged up. If they're not healthy, Indiana, I mean, they've got a huge edge, because Fisher and those guys on defense, they're still legit. I don't know if it's quite as good as it was last year. That's debatable, but it's at least in the stratosphere, and they're just very sound in what they do. So I think the Hoosiers have a chance to kind of make some history on Saturday night.
Look, I love this Indiana defense, and I came into the year saying it was more talented than it was last year, and I'm still sticking by that. Some injuries have hurt you, but Hosea Wheeler, Michael Kamara on the defensive front, those are NFL guys. Aiden Fisher, he's an NFL guy. Elijah Hardy has stepped up on the other side for linebacker. He's playing really well, and I was asked the other day, hey, D'Angelo Pons is still playing, right? Yeah, he is. He's a Sunday guy, too, on the back end. So what I'm hearing from you, though, Brian, is this is not a game that Luke Altmaier can go and win on his own. He's going to have some help to get across this Indiana defense.
The weird thing is they had multiple guys, and this is so rare for Illinois. They had multiple guys last year that were pretty darn good at receiver, but they're done.
Yeah.
And even like Tom Fernelli from the Cover 3 podcast, Illinois grad, Illinois homer, he's like, I don't think they'll be able to throw it that well this year. They'll probably lean on the run game. Well, their big running back transferred to Georgia, and some unproven receivers have hit.
Yeah.
So it's been polar opposite. And it just shows you how wild it is in the transfer portal era. You just don't know. But against teams that are really balanced in what they do defensively and, their scheme and coaching is good, it's pretty hard to be one-dimensional. In a way, it could be kind of the reverse of what happened in the Duke game when they beat up on Duke. Duke didn't run the ball well, being nice. They didn't even have 100 yards rushing. In Illinois, made some big plays when they had to, and their defense, they got some talent on defense. Like if you make mistakes there, they will take the ball the other way. They had 5 turnovers against Duke?
Yep.
I think it could be a reverse kind of deal. And I'm not saying Indiana's going to get 5 turnovers against Illinois, but if you're one-dimensional against Fisher and those guys, Pons and everybody, it's going to be pretty hard. You might get to 20, 24 points, but do you really think Mendoza and crew are going to stay under that total? I doubt it.
Right.
They've been pretty healthy for the most part. The O-line's playing pretty well. I imagine Indiana has a chance to get in the 30s by late third quarter. I don't think this Illinois defense is great. It's just good. We'll see how sound they are because they could be on the field a lot, and that could wear on them. So my big question is, can Indiana run the ball early in the game? Because if they can, Illinois is in a lot of trouble.
Of course, Indiana losing one of the running backs out of the room, Lee Beebe Jr., earlier this week, but I still think Kalen Black and Roman Hemby can absolutely move the pile. They hit the hole hard, and they're extremely hard to bring down. And then this is Fernando Mendoza's first true test at Indiana. I remind people, he has been in big games before. He's been in big moments before. He's won those big games before too, Brian. So the Indiana offense, I think, is going to be moving. If Indiana's defense can slow down Illinois, I think there's a big chance that Indiana can win this football game. But something that has concerned you, that concerned me as well, it's the betting line for this game. Indiana's still favored. We talk about that coming up next. Plus, what recruits will be on campus and how big of an opportunity this is. We talk about that right after this on this bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by Mazda. You can just move through life, or you can find the things that move you. It really is your choice. You can choose to get out there, choose your people. You can choose to go for it, like really go for it. Just choose to do something that moves you. Mazda crafts cars for those who choose to do more than simply move. Mazda, it's time to move and be moved. Today's bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by Wayfair. The weather's cooling down, the days are getting shorter, and that has me wanting to make my home feel just a little bit cozier. When it's time to cozify your space this fall, Wayfair is the place to go. Wayfair has everything you need to set the mood for the season, whether it's a comfy recliner, some warm bedding, an autumn decor, or even an espresso machine, so you can make your favorite latte at home. Wayfair has everything that you need. I've told you, just start scrolling, man. You'll find something you didn't know you needed, but now you want it. And Wayfair is going to get it for you, and they're going to get it to you quickly. All right. Cozify your space with Wayfair's curated collection of easy, affordable fall updates. From comfy recliners to cozy bedding and autumn decor, you'll find it all for way less at wayfair.com. That's WAYFAR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by Square. Your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. There are certain businesses that truly make the neighborhood feel like home, whether it's the local sports bar packed on game days, like I assume they'll be today, the coffee shop that knows your order by heart, or the corner deli that's been serving your community for decades. There are places that bring people together. What neighborhood businesses thrive? The whole neighborhood thrives. There's so many options that you could pick that are a part of Square that are in the town of Bloomington. How about Mulberry Cottage? How about Bubba's Pizzas? Maybe even Card Craze or Rusty Anchor. Those are the businesses you need to be out and supporting here in the community. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy that you did. Square, see you in the neighborhood. All right, welcome back to Locked On Hoosiers, this bonus episode on game day between Indiana and Illinois. And Brian, the spread for this game has moved so much back and forth in terms of Indiana being the favorite. That's never been in question, but I've seen it as low as 4.5. I've seen it as high as 6.5. But you and I were talking off air. The fact that Indiana is a favorite by more than 3 points has you kind of concerned.
It makes me wonder if Illinois is going to be a little more motivated. They're top 10 by some polls. They're ranked quite a bit higher than it's going to tick them off. You never want to see the other team motivated. That's simple as it gets. Yeah. The other thing is Vegas has tons of contacts all across the country into coaching staffs, into training staffs, trying to find out injuries. And I know all the bettors want to find out. And let me just give a little advice to anybody. I know there's some leagues that are putting out there, we have to have injury reports and all that. There is not a single college coach that is ever in any way, shape, or form going to give an accurate injury report. Ever, ever, ever. It is not.
No, come on, Brian. Come on. They don't fudge those numbers. They don't fudge the list on those, right?
But anyway, I wonder who's really hurt and who's not, and which guys are coming back. As I mentioned in the first part of the show, there's been some talk about their line hasn't been the healthiest. Are they still there? Like Indiana better not expect you expect the worst and hope for the best. Like Illinois is going to be ticked because that spread is probably higher than I would expect. But then again, we'll see. And you mentioned one of their DBs being banged up.
Xavier Scott. Yep. The all Big Ten DB is out today for Illinois.
That's a problem. If that is correct, and again, I still don't even believe that either, just because I know how this works. Yeah. If he doesn't play, Illinois is in a different spot. You can't run aggressive defense with your top guy standing next to coach. You can pick on guys real quick. And I don't care if you're Ohio State. If you lose a single DB, the other team's just going to target the other guy, and there's no way to help them. They're on an island. Right. It's the one spot where a top guy's out, and a game can go sideways. It can absolutely go sideways. So if they struggle running the ball, and Indiana, I don't know how Mendoza's going to throw tonight, but if he's on, they can get any kind of early lead. They can put them on their heels. That's the one advantage. But I just wonder if it's because of his injury that it's so high, because you're probably not going to lose an NFL DB and the next guy be just as good. That's not realistic. But I just hope that's accurate, that the injuries are real, because I'm guaranteed Illinois is motivated. That I can assure you.
Well, there's a lot riding on this game between Indiana and Illinois. And as fun as the game itself is going to be, right between the hashes on the actual field, there's a lot happening outside of the game in this game tonight, Brian, because the atmosphere will be incredible. The campus has been buzzing all week long, and today will be no different. But this is one of the biggest recruiting opportunities that Indiana football has ever had. And you being the recruiting expert for us here at the Locked On Podcast Network, host of the Portal Podcast, be sure people go and check that out on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. This is an incredible chance for Indiana to impress some of the biggest recruits, not just in the state, not just in the area. They got some of the best dudes in the country on campus this weekend.
Yeah, I was kind of scanning through some of the list, and when I saw the first name, I literally paused and I'm like, this can't be right. Indiana never gets this kid on campus, like literally. There's a kid from the greater Dallas area. Cedar Hill's a famous program. His name's Jalen Brewster. Before the end of his sophomore year, he had like 30-some offers. He's that guy. He's going to be in Bloomington, and he's a defensive tackle. He's the rarest of the rare. He's the interior guy that can pass rush and do all those things, that he can pick up the phone and commit. He can call Kirby or whatever. He's going to have offers from whoever he wants.
Sure.
He's going to be in Bloomington. That kid never visits Indiana. This is a sign of the program changing. Outside of Juju Lewis last year, is this the top recruit to ever visit Indiana? He'd certainly be in the conversation, and it's just a sign of the times. They got a lot of good Chicago, Indianapolis and stuff kids. You got a good player from Tennessee coming down. But getting an elite Dallas area kid to visit, that's different. Indiana has kind of taken that next step to the elite level. Brewster is as highly rated an underclassman recruit as you're going to find to come to your campus. This is a great sign for the future for the Hoosiers.
And this is talking football. This is not basketball where visits aren't acceptable, right? Because in basketball, visits are great, but people want commits. Indiana's still on the football side in the I guess, the stage of the program where big time visitors are still a big deal, and you start to chip away at knocking down some of these really good 3 stars, 4 stars, and flirting with 5 stars as well, right? And you know the basketball landscape for Indiana recruiting. You're an IU guy.
Yeah, they need to finalize on some of these kids rather soon, by the way. But
Yes. Yeah.
But for football, like Brewster's just getting started. He could have went to a lot of other campuses. He's going to Indiana's. There's all kinds of games local to him. Oklahoma, Texas, Texas A&M, LSU, all these programs. He's going to Bloomington. That would have never happened a year ago. Just wouldn't have.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have happened. I'm 52. It wouldn't have happened at any other point in my lifetime. So this is a very extraordinary scenario. And what I'm curious now to kind of follow on my own podcast, the Portal Pod, because like this is a storyline where people locally are going to be like, wait, he's visiting Indiana? That's a big deal. And that city is top 4 in the nation, like talent-wise. Atlanta, Miami, Dallas, and LA are like the 4 in particular. They're the best. You start getting kids out of Dallas, you change your program. So I would be very, very interested to see why that's happening, and I want to follow into it. But they've also got other kids coming too. Mason McDermott's a kid, big offensive tackle from Noblesville. They got Dewey Young coming in. It's a kid out of the state of Michigan. They've got good players coming from all over. This just doesn't normally happen. And for like what you said earlier, with the buzz on campus, it's not hard to sell Bloomington. I know that because I went to school there.
Right.
But these kids don't have a clue. And when they get there, they're going to be blown away by how much fun it is as a quote-unquote true college town. Bloomington's about as true a college town as you're going to get. So it's only 2 high schools there. You know, it's the real deal. I think that they're going to really like it. I wouldn't be surprised if they got a commit or 2 from this weekend. And that's also good news.
Yeah, it's a big weekend for football. Ton of big name recruits on campus. Couple of big basketball recruits as well that we've been telling you about throughout the week here on Locked On Hoosiers as well. One more question before we wrap up here. I think I've asked you this on the show before, but I just want to confirm. In a game like this, it's top 20. These kids are here to see Indiana in the campus and the facilities and talk with the coaches a little bit pregame and maybe postgame as well. Does the result of the game truly matter in big name recruits or guys that are going through the recruiting process? If Indiana loses in a dogfight, right, a game losing field goal, whatever the case may be, does the result truly matter in big name high school football recruits?
Not a lot. Most of the kids look at environment, how they were treated, and how did the players at their position perform.
Okay.
I know fans look at it differently. They want their team. They're worried about the logo. The recruit is worried about his future to get to the NFL and just how much fun they have.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just want to make sure I'm not saying a blowout one way or the other, and I think Indiana wins this football game, but just wanted to clarify and make sure that it's not, well, if this team doesn't win, I ain't going there because they couldn't even beat Illinois, right? I didn't think that was the case, but just wanted to make sure with a big weekend on tap for Indiana versus Illinois. He's Brian Smith, host of the Portal Podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Go check him out. He does incredible work. We appreciate him and always love having him on the show. And happy game day, folks. We're going to be live right here on Locked On Hoosiers YouTube channel tonight after the game, Indiana and Illinois. So come right back here. We'll be talking about it. Win, lose, or draw will be your go-to spot for the Indiana Hoosiers. We are back tonight for a live show and a normal show on Monday, Hoosier fans. So until then, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.